Yemen promises Iran 400,000 troops in an event of regional war. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. You already know where we are. Okay, so Yemen, this is Yemen right here. They have promised Iran to send them 400,000 troops in case they went to war with Israel. Yes, these people are very angry and they're ready to go. So the Yemenis have been supporting most of the people in Gaza since the war started, basically. They're very angry and they've been attacking many ships traversing that area of the Red Sea because they feel like most of the ships traversing that side are supportive of Israel. At least the ones that are going to get attacked, definitely. Now, the Yemenis are not necessarily rebels. Yes, they are perceived as rebels by the West, but themselves do not perceive themselves as rebels because the bottom line is they run Yemen. Now, they have the abilities, they have the technology to get into ships and attack with drones and do all the kind of crazy thing you can possibly think about. The United States of America have bombed them a couple of times using big bombs, but these people are undeterred. Now, they say they're going to send 400 human beings, 400,000 of humans to go fight in case of a regional war. So they are not backing down. We're going to give you very quickly a briefing and update on what's happening in the Middle East.
Exactly from an African perspective, of course,
Your first time here, hey, I'm Zack. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know who you are, but hey, click on the button. I think it's called subscribe so you can join the crew. Let's go. Russia says it has no intention of abandoning Iran in case of war against Israel. So what do they mean by that? Are they going to go to war face-to-face against Israel? Okay, so Iran has been a very valuable friend to Russia during its war in Ukraine. And when everybody else turned their back against Russia, ostracizing Russia, Iran is a country that's been supporting Russia by sending drones, by sending rockets, by sending missiles. In this very moment where Iran needs help, Russia has to show its level of friendship and loyalty, and this will determine the future of these countries. So Russia said it will support Iran in case of war. However, we need to keep things into perspective. Russia is one of the few countries that has a relationship with both countries. By that, I mean Iran and Israel. If you look very carefully, you will notice that Israel has never really attacked Russia openly in the United Nations. Even when everybody else has voted against Russia, they try to keep away. Now, there are reasons to that, strategic reasons. Because, just imagine, if Israel had to go very straightforward against Russia, what will happen? Russia will just arm the enemies of Israel. Now, imagine Russia sending ballistic missiles to Houthis, or to Yemenis, or to people in Gaza, or to Hezbollah. That would be detrimental and devastating blow to Israel. Therefore, in order for them to avoid that from happening, they would just try, keep away from the Russians. So the balance is there. And the reason why Russia is not going all out with Iran, with helping them fight Israel, is because Israel has never really been the enemy of Russia openly. We are developing cooperation with Iran in a variety of areas. We intend to do this further, Kremlin Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov says. Russia is a close ally of Iran, but has to carefully balance a number of military and economic partnerships in a wider Middle East. Iran, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia worked together for the very first time to hold a naval exercise in the Sea of Oman. Iran and Saudi Arabia used to be the worst enemies ever for the longest time. And one of the reasons to the petrodollar, if you remember the petrodollar, what gives the dollar the ability to be a strong currency, is because Saudi Arabia was sort of scared of Iran. Therefore, they needed America.
I'll explain.
So back in time, Americans went to Saudi Arabia to discuss the deal. The deal was about having Saudi Arabia to sell their crude oil exclusively in dollar. Why? Because Saudi Arabia was one of the biggest producers of crude oil in the world. Therefore, cutting a deal with them where they could only sell the crude oil in dollars and not any other currency would make America's dollar in a very strong position. Now, I'll give you a very simple, a stupid example. If your country uses shillings and you needed crude oil from Saudi Arabia, you would first have to exchange your shillings to US dollars and go purchase the crude oil. Should you not have the US dollars, you will not be able to purchase the crude oil. So by doing so, you're putting the US dollar in a position no other currencies are. And that's the petrodollar power that they negotiated many years ago. It was a brilliant idea for America. However, that was done because Saudi Arabia at the time was scared of Iran. And America promised to them, we're going to give you protection. We're going to give you weapons and military to protect you in case anybody, inclusive of Iran, attacked you. We will bomb them. Now, many years ago, BRICS was founded. They felt like that was a very interesting position for America. The Chinese went, called Iran, called Saudi Arabia, sat them around the table and had a discussion. Say, fellas, you've been fighting too much. We think it's about time you two talk to one another. Now, the Iranian and the Saudis have come to an agreement. It's been a few years now. They understand each other. There's no more war. So there's no clear reason for Saudi Arabia to be loyal to America anymore because they're not scared of Iran anymore. Now, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt have held a joint military exercise in the Sea of Oman. What does that mean? Are they getting ready for war? Against who? You know. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and French President Macron held a difficult conversation last week over the escalating situation in Lebanon.
I have a message for President Macron. All civilized countries should be standing firmly by Israel's side. Yet President Macron and some other Western leaders are now calling for an arms embargo against Israel. Shame on them.
Et je regrette que le Premier ministre Netanyahou ait fait un autre choix et pris cette responsabilité, en particulier d'opérations terrestres, sur le sol libanais.
Un chemin diplomatique existe. Il est exigeant et c'est celui que la France veut tracer pour le Liban avec tous ses partenaires.
So the French president is not happy at all with what's happening in Lebanon. He feels like they are trying to render Lebanon what they have done to Gaza, and it is unacceptable, and that does not respect international laws. So according to reports, Macron, who initiated the call, hurled harsh accusation at the Israeli prime minister for leading Israel into Lebanon and getting Lebanon in the brinks of a full-scale war. He says it's unacceptable. Why do you go to somebody else's country and go bully them because you feel you're strong? He says the responsibility to prevent escalation is yours. That's Macron speaking to his counterpart. You can opt for diplomatic solution. This is the moment to show leadership and responsibility. Your activity in the north is pushing the region to war. That's what Macron said. He's pushing. Why is he pushing? Because most Western countries don't speak to Israel like that. Yeah, because they're scared for whatever reason. You're going to find out whatever reason. Now, Netanyahu replied saying, instead of you putting pressure on us, it's about time you pressure the Hezbollah. You know what I mean? Don't put pressure on us. Put pressure on Hezbollah. It's like saying, well, you go put pressure on your mate. How can you put pressure on Hezbollah? They're of your friend with terrorists. Go say, it's crazy. He said, we will bring our resident back home. In the north. That's what Netanyahu said. Now, the north is very much disputed. But he's saying we're going to bring them back home where they belong. This is a decision we made this week and we will act on it. And again, he said later on, you, the French, do what you still need to do diplomatically and we will do what we must do. So you do you, I'm going to do us. Whatever it is, it's going to happen. Are we seeing progressively France and Israel going to war? Macron expressed his sympathy in the meantime to the Lebanese people in the footage. He's saying escalation is no one's interest. That's what he said on X. So basically, Yemen promises 400,000 troops to Iran in case they went to war. They're not backing down. Russia said they're going to help Iran in case of war. They're not backing down. They are their mates. They are their friend. Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Egypt hold a naval exercise together for the very first time. Who are they fighting against? Emmanuel Macron and his Israeli counterparts go at war of words. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. It's always a great pleasure. Please subscribe before you leave and drop a comment. I want to read from you. I like when you write, you give an explanation. You guys are very smart and you inspire us. Don't just watch and leave, please. Bless.